Welcome back to the coverage of the European Championship 2019. It is time for casual round number 8. We've been waiting for this the entire day. Finally, we can let loose, can put the ties off and go crazy with the last round of the day. Even though we might be looking a little bit more funny than usual, the round is actually high pressure for these two guys because they both have 5 wins, 2 losses. So they might still go to day 2, even if they win this round, but their chances of going to the top 64 are going to be very, very slim. So this is what we call a bubble match. We have 2 gifted players. One of them came to me earlier, said, I want to have a feature match. There's a lot of players in the venue that do that these days. Some of them say, I'm playing Salamangreat, and some actually say, hey, I'm playing something completely out of the ordinary. I'm not going to give away what he's playing, but he's got a feature match, so there you go. The 2 players that we have for our feature match in the last round are Pascal Eng in the blue corner. Hey.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I think pretty well for now, but if I lose, it's the end.
Well, not quite the end, but you have a very, very slim chance, yeah. How are you feeling about playing in the feature match now?
I a little bit anxious, but it will be very good.
Okay, it's going to be very good. And where are you from again?
I'm from France.
Okay, and we see a lot of French players this weekend do really, really well. What changed? What's the secret in the French community?
I don't know the friendship.
It's just time for the French players to rise up again. Okay, please have a seat. His opponent from Slovenia is Jaka Basej. Hey Jaka, how are you doing?
Amazing.
Amazing, okay. So you are also on a 5-2 record?
No, I'm undefeated.
You're undefeated?
Yes, I'm 5-0-3.
Oh, 5-0-3. Okay, that's okay. You shocked me for a second there. 5-0-2. 4-0-2. 4-0-3. Okay, how do you end up with 3 draws?
I'm playing that deck.
You're playing the draw deck, okay. So, are you happy with how your tournament went so far? I mean, you are undefeated, but what about the many draws? Isn't that going to be a problem later on?
Yes, it is a problem. But it's my first tournament that I will actually go into day 2. So, staying undefeated as long as possible is everything that I wanted.
All right. Well, it certainly seems like you're on the right track. Please also have a seat. Good luck to you. So both these players are ready for the feature match. I got a shock for a second. I thought we missed something up, but no. 3 draws is quite something in 7 rounds. Please perform the die roll to see who is going to go first here.
Which one?
There's a 4 for Pascal. That's a 6, so you can decide who goes first.
Of course, me.
You want to go first. All right. Right, with that, the stage has been set. These players are ready. We just do some re-sleeving before we go. Let's take it away, Marcello Barberi and Daniel Neville.
Welcome back to Cooking with Daniel and Marcello.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. This is casual round 8.
Yeah, it's casual round 8.
WCQ Utrecht.
It's pretty much 9 p.m. I thought I'd just get a pizza. I mean, I'm kind of ashamed for my country that I got to show you this pizza, but I mean, it is what it is. It is still a pretty good one, I'd say. Do we mind?
Speaking of countries,
do you guys mind? Yes.
We are going to look at the breakdown and how the countries have progressed during the day here.
Absolutely.
So we will first be looking at the country breakdown for round 1, which will be up in a second. In the meantime, you have been showing off all of the culture of Italy with your lovely pizza cooking skills.
But yeah, let's try to bring out the deck breakdown for countries on screen.
The players are still getting set up, but this is a really interesting match. We are on a bubble round. We have our breakdown now. Germany, like we said, most represented country in the breakdown. Then we have France, UK, and Netherlands ahead of Italy. I mean, Germany, France, UK, and Italy are kind of the big 4 in Europe. They have the largest nationals, so it's kind of surprising seeing so few Italian players here.
Absolutely.
Very nicely, we also had 36 Irish players at the start of the tournament. As we shift to round 8, we see that is no longer the case.
Yeah, by Ireland, and actually Italy is climbing its way to the top. Like, my fellow Italians are grinding, and it's working out for them.
Yeah, Germany's lead is really diminishing. France is staying strong. Italy is pulling ahead. UK is still doing well. Netherlands has had big losses. Ireland is completely off the board, very upsettingly. But yeah, so we've seen the countries are really shifting about, and we see that there's a lot of good players here from France, Italy, UK that are really kind of bridging the gap.
Absolutely.
When we move to decks, we see that, of course, Salmon Great, most popular deck in Europe right now, most represented, followed by Orcust, Striker, Thunder Dragon. These are kind of the big four of the format. Thunder Dragon only joined this elite crew very recently. Up until then, I think we were kind of saying that Orcust, Striker, and Salmon Great were the best decks,
Yeah,
right?
it wasn't as popular, and the recent wins both at the YCS Knoxville and the NAWCQ really, I mean, showed how good the deck is. We had seen even yesterday at the playoffs completely dominating the event, so no surprise. But now let's take a look at what it is right now. Pretty much similar, but I think...
Thunder Dragon has had the proportionately largest losses, which is kind of surprising because, again, it had been so dominant in events leading up to this.
I agree. Maybe it is due to the fact that yesterday there was such a big crowd watching the playoffs that everyone saw how Thunder was going to be a good deck. Everyone saw what kind of cards were good against it, being Sanctum, Draw and Lock. So you could do some last-minute changes and just adapt your deck. It worked out for many of our players. And unfortunately, though, for this round, we are not going to see one more Thunder. So we should go back to us, because what we are actually going to show you guys is two very different decks.
One interesting last thing from the breakdown is we do see Trickstar sneaking in. And this is a deck that we haven't seen doing well recently. But like you said, let's go back to us. We're going to look at these deck lists.
Yes, so on one side we have Orcust, something that you saw on the breakdown is still the second most played deck at the event. We haven't seen it yet this weekend, so it was time that we showed you guys.
Exactly.
And it is going well. I think same reasoning as Thunder. A lot of players are not prepared for it, but the other players are actually on Dinka's deck, which we can say, Prankids. So he wrote PK on the deck list, and I was actually confused for a moment. I was like, is he playing Phantom Knights? Yeah. But no, PK actually stands for Prankids, and it is something that we have not seen. Yeah. As he said, he got 3 draws with the deck. Just
undefeated.
Yeah, he's technically undefeated, and just because the deck is so well built to play in time, I think we're gonna have a pretty good back and forth match.
For sure.
I grind one. I don't know about you guys. I'm gonna grab a slice. You should too, because it's very late, so you should go and break a drink or whatever, something to eat. But what do you think of this matchup?
Before we hop in, let's talk about the matchup. So we've seen that there have been, obviously, the Prankids player has seen quite a few draws in the tournament here.
Yes.
And that's kind of surprising, because I feel like it's a deck that I would want to be on in order to avoid draws. You have incidental life point gain, you have incidental burn damage to your opponent. So it's kind of surprising. Obviously, the deck is really, really good at playing a long grind game, right?
It is. They are good at doing that. It is what we saw with Dinka back in YCS Milan. It is just a grind game, and we are gonna have to see what they do. In the meantime, our players are getting ready and seated. They will just switch tables real quick, but again, don't want to repeat myself. You can grab something to it. It's quite late in the day. Just don't grab pineapple, please, because my heart will be broken if you eat pineapple on pizza. Please don't do that.
There have been some heretics in the chat already discussing pineapple on pizza, so I'll shield it from you for now. It's okay.
I'll just leave the commentary table if that happens, but I think they are gonna be ready in just a few moments.
Yeah. In the interim, what is your favorite food-themed card in Yu-Gi-Oh?
You mean my favorite? Or
yeah,
just
what's your favorite food monster in Yu-Gi-Oh?
There are a few. I mean, I gotta stick with probably Mystic Tomato, just because it's one of the OGs.
Classic.
It is a classic. I mean, I do enjoy playing like old decks, and it is just something that I have been playing for a lot of years. So, and it does go well on pizza, to be honest.
I mean, I'm more of a mild turkey kind of guy, but Mystic Tomato is pretty good.
Okay, I got you.
As it is, players are ready to go. We have discussed their decks a little bit. It's getting late. we all want to be able to go and eat some real pizza.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So-
not this one, please. But I'm joking. Let's go to the table and let's bring this out.
Here's just a handshake. Excellent sportsmanship. This is what I like to see in the last round. We have all played a very long day of Yu-Gi-Oh! Us perhaps less so than the players. But they are ready to decide who is still in this tournament effectively. So we have Jaka playing Prankids in blue, and then we have Pascal playing Orcust in the red. What do you think's favored here?
It is gonna depend on how many entrops actually Jaka is playing, and we see a Ghost Ogre, which is actually not a really good one against Orcust. It is a card that we've seen being popular again for this event, but Mystic
Nice.
Mind comes down, stopping whatever I was gonna talk. Is he gonna pass? Wow.
This
Oh.
is... It's
Wow, an
clearly,
actual awkward opening here from...
It's a power play. He's getting inside his opponent's head. He played the mine, let it destroy itself to really send a message, you know?
Yeah, he's like, I don't even need this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
destroy you
Throw it
regardless.
away.
But yeah, an awkward opening here from Jaka. I'm very surprised that he just used the mine and passed. Of course, it is gonna destroy itself because it doesn't matter. Like, it says that there should be the same number of monsters for it to be destroyed, and 0 is equal to 0. So now the Ogre is not gonna do much, honestly. Like, as long as Pascal has any extender, Ogre is there for Thunder Dragon and for Sky Striker. But against Orcust, it is so awkward. Like, you don't really hit anything from their combos, so...
Yeah, back when they were playing Summon Sorceress, Ghost Ogre was killer because they go Summon Sorceress effect and you're like, Ghost Ogre, you're dead. And that just isn't happening now.
Yeah.
You can only punish them if they try to activate a Galatea effect too early in their combo.
Yes.
But at this point, I think most players know that they're wanting to activate Galatea after they've set up the Dingirsu and they have the Symbol Skeleton back in their graveyard.
Absolutely, and this stream, I think this last match is really being a good lesson for everyone watching. Just like you don't put pineapple on pizza, you don't put Mystic Mine on an empty board.
Yes.
So very good lessons for everyone watching here.
Setting the Ogre could have been a good use of the Ogre in this matchup, but of course you don't know what your opponent is playing, unless you do, in which case, if you have that perfect knowledge, then go for
You
it.
could have it, yeah. Where do you think you try to Ogre here?
Again, you hope that your opponent messes up and they give you a Galatea early in the combo, and you can just hit the Galatea then. Otherwise, maybe Bardiche? No, there's no point hitting Bardiche.
I guess, yeah, it is.
You
It
can
is
hold
usually...
it for Time T Freedoer if he's playing Time T Freedoer. I know Redoer is kind of 50-50 in the decks right now, so it will be interesting to see what is decided.
Yeah, it is kind of an awkward one at the moment, unfortunately, and he's still undefeated, as he said, Jaka, so I'm very surprised by the move that he had. To be fair, though, we have seen even yesterday how the top 8 technically best players in Europe still made some big misplays on stream, when there is so much on the line. And in this case, it is going into a day 2 with a very good record, and
Yeah.
you might be shaky. Not the case for Pascal, it seems. French players have been playing quite well on stream, I gotta say. As Oliver said, the community is building up very nicely. And this is enough for the game to be over, because Dingirsu will be summoned, and Dingirsu Pros Borders World is game. So I'm pretty sure Pascal is gonna seal it.
If
so.
the Dingirsu activates here, you can Ghost Ogre it.
But you can protect it anyway with its own effect. So
That's very true.
yes. So
I mean-
this is game 1. Pascal takes it, and we will have a game 2 very soon. Orcust takes the first game on stream for the deck.
Not a bad start to your feature match. Just going for the classic old Boral Sword. And that's kind of what Orcust did originally, was Orcust took the place of Burning Abyss when it started coming into the format in kind of January, February of this year, where Burning Abyss was the best deck for making Boral Sword, and then suddenly you had Orcust, which was able to do that, and more as well, when going first. you know, the Orcust board is just better than Beatrice. When you were able to summon Azathoth, that was a lot better than Beatrice. And so we are seeing here that...
I have one question
Still
for
have
you.
answers. Yes.
What do you think Pascal is thinking at the moment? Like, you can't be expecting your opponent to be Prankids. You just saw Mystic Mind pass.
You cannot play around Prankids here.
Yeah, what do you even expect? Like, is it Burn? Is it Sky Striker? Like, I'm not even sure. Because he said, obviously, I'm going first, which was also a bold statement by Jaka. But yeah, this is gonna be...
I mean, it could be somebody playing Orcust, because there are certain Orcust lists which are playing set rotation plus 1 copy of mine. And so that player would be unfamiliar with mine.
I think that if you're Pascal, like, Jaka is only maining 1 copy of Mystic Mine. And if you're Pascal, that's the only card you saw. So you gotta expect that this is a mine deck. And he might just side a lot of 8 for the mine. And that might actually go back and hurt him, because I think Jaka is gonna have a very good game too if he opens better than that, because he's probably just gonna be playing against a deck where Pascal sides in whatever he is siding against, like Typhoon, evenly matched maybe, like whatever outs he has to mine.
It's really hard to side when you don't know what your opponent is playing.
Sure.
I guess you bring the Typhoon and evenly matched purely because they let you clear the mine. You could also bring in Imperial Order and just assume that your opponent is playing like Sky Striker.
I wouldn't be
and
surprised
open
by
like
it.
double jamming waves, afterburners, and like a Shark Cannon or something.
But luckily Mystic Mine has this kind of restriction, because imagine if you didn't even need to use a monster, it would
Be bonkers.
Yeah, even more.
Or if it was just during your opponent's end phase.
Yeah.
It'd be so good. It would just be a better cold wave.
Unfortunately, I think we're seeing another very bad end by Jaka, because like I see Cold Body Grave, Cyclone, and the Iron Wall, which is a nice touch against evenly matched, but I don't think he has anything going on. And the deck does not have Link 1 Prankids monsters yet.
Yes, a Link 1 Prankids monster would be very nice.
Yes.
Realistically, the Iron Wall could be quite impactful here, because if Pascal doesn't have a way to clear it, it's a Lancia that's just never going away. And this is the classic T-set pass, which we often see in round 8 of European events for people joining us from America.
Yeah.
It really applies pressure to the opponent and forces them to think. Like, he doesn't know what he's on. It could be Paleo. It could be Mindburn.
Absolutely. The set monster probably is giving away that it is not Mindburn. There isn't really anything you would like to set. So Pascal is more or less a comfortable spot, but as you were saying, Imperial Iron Wall is just an artifact Lancia that sticks. So at least you're able to like Nightmare Phoenix it, but if you start with Nightmare Phoenix and miss it, then you could be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nightmare Phoenix is always a nightmare that you want to hold on to, right?
Yes.
Like,
and
Cerberus is just so bad compared to Nightmare Phoenix.
at the same time, I find it kind of hilarious that he does have the Imperial Iron Wall, but the cards he has sat next to it all banish. So if he is forced to flip the Imperial Iron Wall right away, then both Cosmic and Cold Body Grave are completely useless.
Yes, which would not be ideal. I mean, realistically, we could see Pascal going into the Phoenix first here and just blindly targeting a set card. As long as it's not the Imperial Iron Wall, then Jaka could be able to play from here. We do see the Phoenix coming out.
Okay, so this hit is gonna be super important.
Yep, this is clutch. We see Jackalope going down. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are going random to determine.
I think it is
what
not
we're
the
destroying.
Imperial. It is
Chaining called by
the worst
hitting
one.
the Jackalope. That is really good for our Prankids player here. He has dodged a bullet. Like, that was very close.
Absolutely. But again, you see the main difference between Imperial Iron Wall and Lancia. For example, here we're gonna see a Nightmare Mermaid. But if you flip the Imperial Iron Wall, then the Orcust player is just able to go for Dingirsu and pop it, which is not that good, I would say. So it doesn't seem like it is that scary. The Cold Body Grave has been used, so I really don't see Jaka in a good position at the moment.
I mean, the important thing is, it's late in the day. Your opponent forgets.
You can always hope.
I mean, always play to your outs. Or always play to your opponent's outs, I guess. Keeping in mind that these guys are playing to... They are guaranteed to be playing tomorrow because I believe it is 15 points to make day 2. But they are realistically playing to try and maintain the ability to finish in the top 64. And if they can make top 64, their scores are basically reset because it's single elimination from that point.
Absolutely, and it is still going to be a lot of action. Just as a reminder, this is the last round for day 1. We will be back around 9 a.m. tomorrow for 3 more and top 64. So there are a lot of duels. I do remember for some odd reason that the total number is 17, but I can't quite remember why.
17.
Yeah, 17. I don't know. I just very good at math, I guess.
Did the pizza tell you this?
Probably. I wish I could talk to pizza. It would be quite
It'd be
interesting.
quite a superpower.
Yeah.
Is that why you
Especially
don't trust
for an
pineapple
Italian, I
pizza?
guess.
Just
Yeah.
what did the pineapple pizza do?
Oh,
Find out
it
next
existed.
time. It existed.
That's all it did. Yeah.
I dare it. Ooh, Ulti Galate coming down.
Yes,
Very
so
pretty.
now what I was saying is the issue, you can just go into Dingirsu. Like, it's so easy to deal with an Imperial Iron Wall. And yeah, this is gonna be tough, absolutely. So
Yeah, I feel like I would have liked to let the Orcust Nightmare resolve. We see Phantom Knights coming down. Is he playing? No, he's not playing
Breaksword, you mean? I mean, it would be...
I've seen people playing Breaksword this weekend. Card is so good. Because if he was playing Breaksword here, he'd be able to Breaksword, pop the Iron Wall in itself, and then have 2 level 4s to be able to extend into things like Time Thief Redoer, etc. Here comes Dingirsu, just like you said.
Exactly. No surprise here, it's very easy to deal with Imperial Iron Wall. I mean, if you are Pascal, you're still like trying to understand what your opponent is playing. I would be so confused if I was him. We're probably gonna see a Rusty come down here.
I mean, clearly they're playing Cyber Scout Control, which is playing ROM and RAM goats, you see. Yeah,
Or
those
maybe-
cards are actually bonkers. Have you read those?
Which ones?
The 2 goats, the Cyber Swans.
The one that summons like all...
Ram Claudia and ROM.
I have no idea what you're talking about, actually. So I gotta be honest with you. And right now, I think he's still playing around whatever this deck could be. I would be so confused if I was Pascal. Like, your opponent obviously is breaking, but it could be anything really. So you don't want to lose to some random like Fossil Dyna Madness or Torrential.
Ram Claudia and ROM Claudia are 2 Cyber monsters, and they can tribute themselves to target Cyber monsters and summon them from the graveyard.
Okay.
They say special summon on them. They have to be good under goats. Or maybe they're
They're pretty cute. I'll get you that.
10 out of 10.
So
Back to this match, though. I don't know if Pascal is going to be able to establish enough damage this turn.
possibly not, but at the same time, it seems like Jaka's options are completely limited. And something that we have not mentioned yet is that actually Jaka is one of our judges. So he judged a lot of YCSs. He's a familiar face. You might have seen him around if you went to a few European events, not as a player, but as a judge. For now, it was still successful for him. It doesn't look like he's gonna win this last round, but even though he has 3 draws at the moment, it means that he still be able to make day 2 and try to win out for top 64. But maybe we'll see, because there is a lot of discussing whether this deck is still in contention, I want to say. Because like when Dinka brought it, I think it was a very nice meta call because no one knew about it, but we didn't really see the deck doing anything else outside of it.
For sure.
So.
Yeah, I mean, Dinka brought Prankids when nobody had read the cards. Like, I think most of his matchups were his opponents just kind of being like, what does this one do? What does this one do? What does this one do? Oh, this is not.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to be
good.
expected. Like, usually with Prankids, you need instant fusion, or you need like a fusion spell, which is polymerization, invocation, or like their own. When you don't get that, the deck literally doesn't do anything. And unfortunately, Jaka drew back-to-back pretty much the same end.
Yeah, and that's the problem with this kind of deck is if you compare it to the heavy combo decks in the format, it just doesn't do anything. Like, you need to have a 2 to 3 card combo to establish a small board with Prankids, whereas when you have a 2 to 3 card combo in something like Thunder Dragons, you go crazy and you end up with 2 negates. Often more, right?
Yes, potentially even more. And right now, this is just gonna be brutal. I don't think Pascal is gonna feel pity for his opponent. You are at the European Championship. Want to end this day one on a 6-2 record.
Yes,
which
for
is
sure.
pretty good, because it means that you most likely want to win all your matches tomorrow, but you can afford to have a draw and potentially even lose one of them, which is obviously a very good feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, having that lower level of pressure is really important going into day 2.
Yeah, I think it makes a huge difference just because you get to sleep, you get to rest, and you're going to have a completely new day ahead of you. And if you need to win all matches, of course you're going to try to win anyway, but it is like very hard to don't think about it. And you saw like yesterday, for example, the huge difference that our players in the playoff had while playing the first match for the World Championship, knowing that even if they lost, they had a second chance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a pressure on a feature match stage. You know, you have the lights coming down on you. It's quite hot over there. You have all of this pressure. There's an audience of like 30 to 40 people here watching this match. And everybody's like watching every single slight action that you make.
At this point, I think Pascal is just flexing on his opponent, which is already at 5,200. It doesn't need to do anything else than just attacking, but
He's playing around Gores.
I guess Gores is still an option. Handshake comes down, and Pascal is the winner of the last match for day 1. Let's go back to us for a quick post-match discussion. Congrats again.
Yeah.
So, nice match.
It was unfortunately a very anticlimactic match. We were looking forward to seeing Prankids. It's a very popular rogue deck, but it just didn't get going. And we saw the weakness in game 2 of playing Imperial Ironwall over Lancia, because you just are still prone to Dingirsu being able to clear the problem, and then you just get to play the rest of your Orcust.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had kind of a meme start with like pizza and showing you guys fun, but the match was kind of fitting with that opening. Unfortunately for him, Jaka, or Yaka, I don't want to mispronounce your name, I'm sorry if I did, didn't open any Prankids combo, like either game 1 or 2. He didn't have anything going on, he was just trying to survive. In game 1, we saw that unfortunate Mystic Mind pass, which, to be fair, it didn't matter. So
if you compared the hands to pizza, it would definitely have been the pineapple pizza of hands.
Yes, even worse. Even, I mean, it's probably the one you wanted to give me at UK Nationals, which I kindly refused.
I did no such thing.
Yes, yes, deny it, try. We have evidence. But anyway, it was definitely a good match. I want to thank you guys for having watched this stream today.
Exactly.
We had 8 very good duels. Again, you can check all of the action we did on YouTube and on Twitch.
And importantly as well, yesterday we had 3 players qualify for the World Championships. 2 Germans, 1 local Dutch player, Raphael Nevin, Joshua Smith, Jonas Koschel, all massive names in the European scene, and all of those matches are either here or they're on the YouTube. So if you're looking for more Yu-Gi-Oh, particularly if you're in American time zone, you guys still have a lot of day left, whereas we are very close to pizza time.
Absolutely, and yeah, as again, we just want to remind you that tomorrow we will have more rounds, 3 more rounds to be exact in Swiss, and then top 64. Yeah. Anyway, again, thank you for watching. We will go back one more time for today to Oliver for the interview. Thanks again, and let's go.
Thank you very much indeed, Marcello and Daniel. We're back on the main event stage one last time for today. We're here with the last winner for today, Pascal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done. It was easier than you thought at first.
Yes.
What was the feature match like for you? What did it feel like?
I'm very happy because I can continue the competition.
Yeah.
So
now you got 6 wins?
yes.
Yes. So you're very much in competition. You can afford 1 draw possibly, but you need to make sure that this.
Stay focused. Yes.
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 All right. So how happy are you with your deck choice for the weekend?
I was happy because I hesitated to play in traps, but it works very well today. So I'm really happy.
Okay. If there was something you could change about your deck right now, what would you change?
Certainly to add 1 Nightmare Unicorn because it's hard to be second.
Right. Was the metagame for the field what you expected, or did you expect other decks to be played much more often today?
I think yes, that's the case.
It's what you expected.
That's what I expected. Yes.
All right, I see. Okay, so what are you going to do this evening? You're just going to sleep forever, so you're making sure that you're going to be fit tomorrow morning?
Yes, I think that will be the case.
All right, and then it's 3 more rounds of Swiss. Marcello already mentioned it. 3 more rounds tomorrow morning after the 8 rounds we played today. And then we're going to be continuing with the top 64 players. So you still have a shot at making it. Congratulations again. Right, guys, that is it for day number 2 from the long European Championship weekend we're having this weekend. Yesterday, as these guys said, we had the top 8 playoffs. Some of the players from the top 8 playoff are still in competition. In fact, some of them, despite starting with a 2-0 today, with 2 buys in the first 2 rounds, didn't go their way. Sebastian Ma, for example, definitely one of the worst weekends of the past year because he's been so consistent. Paul Schuffenecker, the French duelist that was 2nd ranked at the start of this weekend, basically, in terms of points, and who didn't make it in the top 8 playoff, has 2 draws and 1 loss. So if he wins the last round, he's definitely going to be in day number 2. And he could be our feature match tomorrow morning because we want to see Paul. We said this yesterday. He was able to be on top of the standings for almost an entire year, and we still didn't get to see him featured at a YCS. He somehow flies under the radar like a stealth bomber, basically. All right, so that's it for today. There's going to be more action, you can already tell. The tournament is shaping up nicely. We got some big name players at the very top, like Samir Bashar, who we had in our last round feature match. Tomorrow morning, you're going to see more of that. Some other players with some crazy decks, because we do have players with Necros very much on top of the field. So, if you're not in the same time zone as us, it is currently 9:20. We're going to be starting at around 9 tomorrow morning. That means we're going to be back in roughly 12 hours, a little bit less than 12 hours. So just set your alarm clocks 12 hours in the future. Then we're going to see each other tomorrow morning bright and early. Enjoy your evening. Thank you very much for watching, and see you very soon tomorrow morning.